Hey everyone, I'm Mark,
And I'm Alex.
and this is Final Stop for Final Fantasy Talks. Welcome everyone to episode 60 of the podcast. We're just going to continue on our Final Fantasy X playthrough. We left off at home. We were kind of on the outside. We're going to move on the inside. And before we kind of go through all of it, man, I was just kind of thinking, you look at we get kind of the bird's eye view of home. It's very interesting. It looks like it's got a bunch of spires and all that, but we know these guys are like grease monkeys, right? And they just like to invent crappy machines that don't work very well. It's kind of like, what would this
Yeah.
place be like, right? Before all this.
Well, and also, where do they get all the raw materials from, right?
They're in a
In the middle of the
desert.
desert, and they got like these giant, almost like apartment complexes. You know what I mean? There's giant buildings, right?
Skyscrapers,
It's
yeah.
pretty crazy.
But this whole area in general is actually pretty small, and then we just kind of have some side rooms. So just be prepared for so many battles, though. So many. You might be able to get like at most 4 steps before you get into, this a nice screen shatter. But I
Yeah.
will say, you might actually like the battles because who knows? It gives you a break from Abadoy, ah, Abadoy, ah, Abadoy,
Yeah,
ah.
but the music carries through, right? So
Dude,
at least in this one, you don't have like a change up between I guess the environment music and the battle
true.
music.
Yep.
So this one, it just kind of carries through. But yeah, at least you get a break from I'm annoying, huh? I'm annoying, huh?
It's because it goes the whole time. It goes
Oh
the
man,
whole
drives
time.
you
Oh my
crazy.
gosh.
We're never gonna stop talking about it.
No, it's the worst part in the game, in my opinion. We do have some enemies here, of course. We see the Guado Guardian again. So remember, these were the guys that kind of like to use the auto potion. Same thing here. It's kind of interesting because they do use auto potion, but it doesn't seem to be 100% as it was before. I don't know. When I was playing through and I encountered them, they didn't always use a potion after I attack them. So I was like, I thought that was
Yeah,
kind of interesting. But side note on
yeah.
them right here is they do like to use confuse quite often, which that is not
Yeah.
ideal.
Yeah, and Confuse is hard to guard against too because, to customize it, unless you get like some lucky drops or something like that, Confuse Ward requires quite a few Musk items that are pretty tough to get, and Confuse Proof is even more than that. It's just really hard to get. Yeah, I mean, at this point, the Guado Guardians, at least, you kind of get to the point where if you've been playing normally, and upgrading your characters and doing the sphere levels and all that stuff, kind of gets to the point where Auron or Waka can take them out in one hit.
So they do the same thing where they like to have fiends with them. Bombs are one that you'll encounter here. It's just a bomb. It's like basically just upgraded a little bit. It's not that much stronger, honestly. And so,
Yeah.
same deal though. They'll explode after 3 hits, but I would be surprised unless you're doing a challenge run that you wouldn't kill it on the first hit or second. Not
Yeah,
really a threat there.
yeah, exactly. You can steal a lot of bomb cores from these guys as well. I think with 16, you can customize fireproof. So these guys can be easy, really quickly if you customize a few armors. Because with those steals, you're getting 2 to 3 per steal.
Yeah, and
So
usually
they
there's
come
what
in
like
pair.
threes or something.
Yeah, they're in trios. So you get 3 at a time, and then basically, you get about 9 to 12 bomb cores per battle.
Yeah, that's
So
that's crazy. Well, and then another one, dual horn. It seems like kind of the Mihen High Road theme here, and so these are upgraded. I mean, they got 3,600 health, so that's actually pretty high up there, not bad. And just their little like horn move, man, that's still just a crazy thing. I mean,
yeah.
it'll do upwards of
And
like 900.
Yeah, I think that's the gore move
Yep,
that it
there you
uses
go.
sometimes, and that does a ton of damage. So yeah, pretty much. I mean, just like you said, same as Mihen High Road. Darkness is really useful. Sleep works against them, and then the only one that's not is this Chimera. So it's basically upgraded version of the Macalania Woods one. 9,000 health. So these guys are a pain because of the sheer amount of health, to be honest. I mean, they
Yes.
do a lot of damage, but they come in pairs. So you've got 2 of these plus a Guado Guardian.
Yeah, you're looking at about 20,000 health that you got to work through just
Yeah,
about. In their Megiddo Flame, I mean, that will hit upwards about 1.2 thousand. So, that's
yeah, still does a
1,200 damage
lot.
is still quite a bit. I mean, you guys are probably
Yeah,
getting maybe 2,000 health or above that. So it's not like, of course, it's like, super dangerous. But again, 2 of them.
Yeah.
So if one uses like Aqua Breath, hits the whole party,
Uh-huh.
and then another one uses the Flame or even just like their punch move, I mean, you got a chance of dying. So
One other thing I would add too is that, again, this place is just such a great place to grind and get some of these elemental items. You can steal Arctic Winds from Chimeras in 2s and 3s. Basically same thing as the Bomb Cores, but you can get Ice Proof. And then on top of that, there's kind of a rare battle around here, but it's you can sometimes encounter Guado Guardian plus 2, I think they're like the Araman type enemies, the Fly Eyes or
okay,
something
yeah.
like that. Evil Eye, I think they're called. But those guys you can actually steal musk from, and that's what I was talking about earlier. If you can get, I think it's 24 musk, you can get Confuse Ward.
Yeah, definitely useful. Well, if you move forward inside, so you go inside the door and it's kind of open. If you go forward, you're actually pitted into a forced battle. So you get a Guado Guardian and 3 bombs, kind of like how we described. Very easy. This one is, not anything to worry about. Right after that, you'll actually get put in another one with the Guado Guardian and 2 dual horns.
Yeah.
So a little bit more challenging, but still nothing probably too bad. And then there's like a little bit of story between Sid and Riku. I think he's like coming over the loudspeaker, he's talking to Riku and Bhed, and especially with all the Bhed primers we have at this point, I mean, gosh, we're almost done. I think the last one
Yeah.
was like 19 we're in, and so like that's 26 letters in the alphabet, so you got almost all of
Yeah.
them, so you can usually figure out most words. They're just kind of talking about what's going on and that they need to get underground because Sid's planning something
Yeah.
big.
Yeah, this place is like getting torn up, right? There's fire everywhere, there's explosions and stuff like that. And the camera's just crazy. It's
Oh my
shaking the whole
gosh.
time. The screen's all blurry and everything,
Yes.
it's classic.
Pixelated to the extreme.
I like Sid over the loudspeaker. He's like, "Man, this blows," or something like that, right? It's just getting overrun. There's
Yeah.
monsters everywhere.
I think Lulu is just like, where's Yuna? She basically asks Riku, and Riku says, in the Summoner's Sanctum. All right, so it's a little interesting thing here, right? You get to the next screen, and it's actually going to be a different camera angle than when you backtrack to it. Right now, you're actually not able to go back up the stairs. I think it puts you down. It just
Like an
basically,
invisible barrier.
yeah, and it just turns you around and makes you go. So you're like, okay.
Yeah.
But it's kind of strange because really all you need to do, I think, is just walk forward enough in the next screen. There's 3 different paths. I don't think it really matters which one you do. Just be careful about the door next to the save sphere. That is a point of no return. You cannot return after that and there's stuff. So I usually just don't
Yeah,
even
the
go
left
that
path.
direction first. I usually just go
Right, yeah.
forward and get there's a chest there with Bhed potions, 6 of
Yeah.
them. I usually just grab that, and then at this point you can backtrack and do anything.
Yeah, and the chests are they can be kind of hidden. That's another thing I'll kind of say is they can be a little tricky. This one, I think the Outbed Potion times 6 is kind of tucked away to the side, and
Yep.
they like to sort of put it against the wall, and with like I said, with the screen shaking and the fire and all this crazy stuff going on, it can be kind of hard to see. So you got to look out for those.
Yes. So if we just kind of stay down here in this path, if you take the right one, can be a little dangerous. I usually make a save before this just because, some things can happen. There's an Bhed primer on the outside, though, before entering. It is 21, so I would pick that up before going into the room. And then once you go in, it kind of goes to a black screen. You get, no, not that way! And it's like, okay, Riku, well, we went in anyways, and... Well, it's a forced battle with the Guado Guardian and 2 Chimeras. And dude, if he can get off the confuse on you, I mean, it can go south real quick here with these guys.
Yeah. But I also gotta say, I love, you get the no, not that way, and then you kind of get this little scene before the battle where there's a chimera in this tiny room, this
That's
giant
right.
thing.
Well, there's
And
2 of them in here. I mean,
exactly. It's just kind of funny. You get like a little scene before the screen shatter
Yeah.
and the battle
I mean,
transition.
what was this Guado doing? He's like, I'm gonna go in this room and we're gonna just hide out here, waiting for someone to come in here. It's the 2 monsters. He's like, it's a little tight squeeze, but we'll get them in. Don't worry about it.
It's seriously weird. But like you said, it could be a tough one.
Well, once you beat them, though, there's a few things here. So first off, there is a compilation sphere here. So if you got, the previous save with the whole alphabet, then, you're good to go. And it's there for a particular reason because we actually have some incredibly unique chests and there's going to be some more in the other room we'll get to. Way different. It's actually really kind of cool and interesting, but the first one here, well, there's 2 actually, so I guess it's not really first, but one of them is basically, it's kind of like you have to solve just simple math problems, which the math
Yeah.
is incredibly simple and easy. I mean, you're basically either adding or multiplying one-digit numbers, but it's just translate. You know, you need to be able to
It's in
read
Al
what the
Bhed,
process
right.
is. Yeah, and so if you don't
Yeah.
have it translated, you won't know. But if you do, incredibly easy. If you do all that, man, you get a special sphere for unlocking. It's like, ooh, that's
Yeah.
special.
It's seriously though, I mean, it's gotta be one of the best items. I was gonna say in the game, I still think it's up there, especially at this point, right? Because when you think of specials, there's a couple like right off the bat that are just game changing.
Yeah.
So, you could get a second character use or steal. That's
Yep.
pretty crazy.
Yeah, essentially, it's kind of like the black magic spheres, right? And there's like the different ones where whatever character knows, use, for instance. So Riku got unlocked use. Now any other character can use that to get use, and it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy because you don't have to
I
actually
mean,
travel there to do it like you would with teleport or friend sphere. You'd have to actually
yeah.
move the character sphere there, but with special, you just unlock it, and boom, you remain where you're at. You continue on.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of anything else that would be super useful. You got all your like stat boosting things
Maybe
like
maybe
cheer,
flee.
reflex. Flee could be good. Yeah, that's a really good one because I'm thinking other than that, you've got like cheer, reflex, focus,
Yeah.
aim, stuff like that.
Yeah, I'd say probably use or flee would be the best because every once in a while you'll just get first strike or something on a character
Yeah,
like Orin, and it's like, okay, well,
yeah,
what am I supposed to do with him? But if you taught him flee,
yeah.
that could be very useful for some areas coming up. The other chest here is actually pretty hilarious. Is just like you basically have to prove you're an Al Bhed, right? It's for the motherland, man. Just go for the motherland. Be like, yeah, we love Al Bhed. It's like one of them's like, what's the name of the city? You say home, and all this stuff. But so if you're just a true blood Al Bhed man, you love your country and your home. You'll unlock it, and you actually get a skill sphere here. So kind of similar to special, but
Yeah.
now it's skill.
Yeah, and isn't one of the questions too, it's like, who is the leader of the Al
Yeah.
Bhed?
Yep. You got
Sid.
Sid.
It's just if you haven't gotten any of the Al Bhed primers and you're just gonna be guessing, it's gonna be kind of tough.
Yeah, that's true. All right, well, if you now backtrack to go up the stairs, along the way there is a chest with 4 more Albed potions in it, so, get that unless you're maxed, which you might be getting pretty close to getting maxed at this point. I think at this point I had like 70 or something. I mean, it's
Yeah.
insane what you get.
But
Back up.
again, yeah, I mean, thinking of how useful given a second person, right? Then you can just have two people throw
Yeah,
an Al Bhed
you don't even
potion.
need Yuna.
Crazy.
We're like, all right, you guys can
Right.
keep her. We're gonna go on our way. We'll go beat Sin ourselves. We
She's in
got
the
healing.
sanctum,
We
she's
got healing.
fine.
We're good. Well, back up the stairs though. There is the other room I hinted at. No, not that way. It's like, okay, we got it. All right. Well, we're clearly looting the place, Riku. I mean, come on, that's what we're doing. We're looting the place, and so
Just
this
gotta
one,
tell us every time.
yeah, every time. This one's a forced battle with Guado Guardian 2 dual horns. So same thing
Yeah.
you've been through again. After you do that, there is an Albed Primer 20. It's on the bed. You could probably grab that first if you want. I mean, it's just obviously it would just help you translate a little bit more. We only got 6 left, mind you, so you definitely
Yeah.
want to get these 2. As Alex hinted at the last episode, man, these are 100% missable. So you cannot
Yeah.
return here. You want to get these.
Yeah, I think it's these 3, if I'm not mistaken, right? What is it, like 19, 20, and
The one on the outside and then the
21?
2 on the inside. Yep.
Yeah.
And so one of the chests it just says like, what are my contents? And then it has a giant list. You literally do get to choose what's in there. So the
Yep.
only things is there's a couple like enemy ones. Don't select it, like a bomb. It's like, yeah, well, it's kind of a waste because I don't know. I'd say probably the best ones are it's either a mega potion or an elixir. I
Yeah.
think I usually just go with elixir.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's the best one that you can get in there, and it's kinda funny, even if you don't have any of the Al-Bhed translated, you can kind of sort of try to figure out what it could be based on how many letters there are, right? So,
Okay.
like, I know one of them is Evil Eye, so when you think about it, really, there's nothing good that could be. There's a bunch of kinda, like, joke item or, if you haven't translated it, it would suck to get because, like Mark said, you get exactly what you select, so there's, like, potion and eye drop and just garbage like that.
So,
Elixir is definitely the best.
oh
I think there's
yes.
Mega Potion as well.
Yep, Mega Potion and Elixir, so you got some choices there. The other one, you basically just have to correctly translate the word they give you, in which if you have the Albed translated, it's just that word. So it's like, I don't know, translate friend, and you would just select friend.
Yeah.
that's translated. Obviously, if you don't have anything translated, you will have no idea what to select. So
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty
that one's
tough.
going to be pretty tough. But if you do correctly do all of them, you'll get a friend sphere in this. That's actually pretty good too. I mean, that can
Yeah, it
be
is.
incredibly useful. It's just wherever, Titus can move to wherever Yuna's at on the board, so to speak. And so it helps, especially, I'd say it's most useful, especially when everyone's kind of getting towards the end of their lines. Because, for instance, let's use Titus again. Titus is at the end, of his board. I think it goes to Yuna's after that, doesn't it? I think that's where it connects.
Yeah,
So instead of
yeah.
use a friend sphere to go to where Oren's at, which he will probably be towards the end of his, and then you can just backtrack that way. Oh man, he's gonna start picking up some great strength nodes, and health and stuff like that. And so
Yeah.
you can really kind of
And
play around with it that way.
think one of my favorites is to get him onto Waka's grid because kind of at the beginning, Waka doesn't get that much strength. It's usually like these little +1, +2s. But
Yeah,
at this point in the game and going forward, he just starts getting, I mean, almost more than Orange, really, when you look at it like just per node. He starts getting a whole bunch of +3s, +4s, things like that,
nice.
and the agility. So Waka's also a really good one at this point.
Anyways, that's it for this area. So once you do all that, you will want to go to the save sphere and move on. So, time for some sad stuff. No, this place done for. Me, Waka. Me from far
My
away. Cross
my name is
big
Waka.
ocean. We cross a big boat. No, I mean, but it's just funny. This place done for. Okay, Waka, yes.
It's forbidden.
It's forbidden.
Yeah, no, this is part again, it's kind of surreal how like, the music stops at this part, right? And you still have like the
Yes,
in the
it's still
background and
very
all this kind
noisy.
of
And
yeah.
Riku kind of
You're
gives,
right. You're
yeah,
right,
yeah,
Waka.
there you go. You're right, Waka.
Yeah, and then she just basically goes on to say that they weren't always the Albed were used to be scattered, and Sid brought them all back, and they had a home and all this kind of stuff, and just to see it like this.
Yeah, yeah,
So
Sin destroyed their original island, so
yeah,
they decided to live in a desert. So that's great.
they're trying to
Could have
yeah, they're
moved
trying to be
in
out of the way.
many other places, but hey, whatever. Clearly they're not liked though in Spear, so we do know that. You'll get another forced battle with Guado Guardian in to Chimera, and it's just kind of funny because they just kind of creep out the sides. You can see them coming in.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah,
Well, they don't have any moving animation, so they're sliding
yeah,
up the stairs.
yeah, they're
It's just like
sliding. Yeah.
yeah, and then they kind of all get in their battle pose and walk. It's just like, damn those Guado.
So after this battle, I think it's like Lulu. She's like, Riku, what's the Summoner Sanctum? And so Riku explains it. It's where they keep the summoners safe. This is really hard for Titus to understand, but we're not blaming him. We are blaming literally everyone other than him for this because he's once again like, okay, I still don't understand. That's what we're for, is to keep the summoner safe, right? Right?
Yeah,
And everyone's just silent,
yeah,
and then it's quiet.
yeah.
Kamari goes now. Kamari, it doesn't have to be quiet, man. You can explain. You can tell him. It doesn't have to be quiet, Kamari.
It's all coming down now, right? Like the House of Cards, the lies, and all the stuff. They're trying to keep Titus in the dark. It all starts with Lulu's like, I understand why you did it, or isn't it something like that? She says,
Yeah. She like understand because
yeah,
Titus is like, well, I don't understand,
right, right, exactly, yeah. And then you get into that. It's like, right?
right? And then Kamari walks off, and then dude, Titus literally just asked a question, right? He's like, okay, but this is what we're for, right? Everyone's just sitting there staring. Kamari walks off.
It's like,
Literally everyone else just walks off too and walks right by him, dude. If that was me, I'd be like, hello guys, I just asked you a question. Like, you're not gonna answer me? You're just gonna literally walk by me, not saying anything? What the heck?
you just be like, hey, can you hear
I
me?
exist.
I'm
I
talking
exist.
right
You gotta acknowledge my existence.
now. I think I'm talking right now.
Yeah, it's crazy,
Yeah.
man. But so you're able to walk now. Some great chests at the bottom, man. So bomb this room. There's one that has a level 2 key sphere, which that's pretty good in itself. But the other one, oh man, a level 4. So that's a huge prize right here. Definitely have to
Yeah,
get it.
and it's missable. I think it's the one, so there's a little like room at the bottom of the stairs. There's one kind of tucked under the stairs.
Yep.
You have to go around them, and it's sort of in this little corner. But that level 4, that is rare. You definitely want to get that one.
There's only one door to go into now, and that is the Summoner Sanctums. So, Yuna, please be here. Well, she's not. She's not here. But what is it? It's Donna and Asaru are actually here, though. And,
Yeah.
and that's where they're like, she's not here. Posse comes over. Hey, what's sacrifice mean? They say they're sacrificing summoners.
And then Titus like, why couldn't they trust the Guardians to protect them? He's still
Yes.
about to unveil.
He's like, come on, man. Like,
Leading
gosh,
up to this
guys,
point, you know?
Guardians, no. And
Yeah,
well,
we're
here
gonna
you
find
go.
out.
Riku finally can't take it anymore. Her crush Titus, doesn't know, and so she's like, blah blah. She's like, don't you? No,
Yeah.
we don't know. You are literally intentionally hiding this from us. You just walked by us when we asked this. We don't know. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, and the way she's beating around the bush here, she's like, if we get to Xanarkand, Uni could, but then she would.
Uni's gonna die,
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's like if Uni calls the final summon, it's gonna kill her.
yes. So that's what we learn. We learn that it is a lamb for the slaughter. You gotta offer up a blood sacrifice, man. You gotta offer up a sacrifice to him in order to kill him, just for it to come back 10 years later. It's like, okay, don't think it's really worth it in my opinion, but all right, well, Titus, man, here you go. I mean, you can't really blame him for this, but you just got to think back all the things that he said and all this, and he didn't know, and isn't she like a sister to you? Why don't you do something, Waka?
Yeah, I like that part too. It's like, Lulu, Waka, how could you? How could you?
We tried to stop her, but she follows her heart.
Yeah, and I think Waka too, doesn't he say something along the lines of like, Yuna, she makes her own decisions, yeah?
Yep. So they, of course, tried to stop her, but Yuna makes her own decisions. And through all this, like, I guess it's from all the unsent people who've died. Like, we kind of see a Yeti manifesting it. But let me tell you, it was a lot of very nice, polite people that died, because this Yeti is very patient. He's no interest in actually attacking anyone. He just sits there and he's like, dang, this is a sad moment, man.
It's like, if I don't move, they can't see me.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit here, let them talk it out first, play the situation,
Wait, these guys killed me before Makalani. I really don't want to.
Yeah.
I want to do that again.
Donna and Asaru, though, they kind of hint that, well, because I think Riku says, like, it's pointless, right? Like, it's not worth it that people sacrifice, but then Donna and Asaru are like, yeah, but this is our choice, we can do this if you want, and they summon down Balfour and Ifrit to take on this Yeti, but everyone doesn't even fight, so...
It's all very theatrical. While they're summoning, they're doing the speech, right? And they're kind of walking forward to, like, face against the fiends that have assembled over there or something like that.
Yeah.
This part of the game, it's great. Obviously, like the first couple times you play it and stuff, and you don't know the story.
Sure.
But it's just funny,
it's
down the road.
It's pretty gruesome down the road. Yeah, you're like,
Yeah.
It's kind of like those. Every Final Fantasy has that part. Like 8 comes to mind after you get to that garden, and you guys just have that orphanage flashback that lasts like 20 minutes, and you're just like, oh my gosh.
Exactly.
Well,
And it's kind of, there's aspects of the story that's a little bit reaching and stuff like that,
Yeah. But yeah, so Donna and Saru, they summon down it, and then Titus is, he's just scream crying, on this way. And I don't know what Valifor did, but apparently Valifor really pissed off Titus because he just starts punching him out, man. Bing, ding, ding, dude. He's just like, he's just going nuts, man. He's just beating the heck out of Valifor. Valifor's like, dude, you're not doing a thing to me, man.
Yeah. I think those are the same punches he used on the computer screen in the very beginning of the game. It's the same moves. It's like his body blow thing.
I've been training for years, Valifor. I've been punching electronics my whole life.
Like, work the body.
Work the body.
No, but the whole time too, he's like, all the things I said, we could.
Yep. So again, he's flashing back because, you think of all these places like Moonflow and all this, and it's like, we'll come back. And they're like, oh, of course we'll come back, we'll see it again. I'll take you places and all that. And yeah, I mean, that would be pretty rough knowing you said all these things to someone who is going to be dead and won't be able to join you. But at the same time, Yuna at any point can be like, no, I'm going to actually be dead. I can't do this. No, just let Titus say these things and make a fool out of himself. That's great.
Well, and also at this point, we don't even know, if he's going to be able to apologize to Yuna and all that kind of stuff. We don't even know where the heck she is.
That's true.
So there's that aspect.
After this, after he's done beating up Valifor, he like hugs him with his wings. I'll put it there, little fella.
He
And
did about 200 damage.
yeah, 200 damage. Lucky us. If you weren't expecting a great treat out of this scene, well, you are. No, you get a flashback scene, and if the ha 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 scene wasn't once enough, why do we have to be put through this again? And so it goes back to it. It goes through pretty much the whole entire scene from him like, do you want to scream? He's like, no. And then the only thing is we just don't have to actually listen to the ha ha ha. I don't care. I didn't want to experience this again ever, but nope, you get to do it.
Yeah, his flashbacks are in like 1980s VHS style or something. It's like
Polaroid. Look at this photograph. Every time I do, I ha ha ha. But after that, it's time to go essentially. And before you leave, there is a chest in here with 10,000 gills. So make sure you just loot the last box before this place is gone forever. And you're actually in for a treat, man. We get to see what our hard-earned work paid off way back on the first boat when we first met Riku. When we went swimming, we had to do, all right, I'll work. Well, dude, we were busy finding an airship, and now we get to actually ride in it. That is really cool, man. I mean, I love this part.
And isn't that a sick scene when you're going up like the catwalk up to the airship?
Yeah.
I love that part. And it's like you don't have the music anymore. You don't have the I'm annoying ha guy going, anything like that. And the airship's right there and everything. It's always just really iconic. Final Fantasy known for airships, and so you finally get to reap the rewards.
Yeah, typical Final Fantasy fashion. Here's a Cid that's flying an airship. Imagine that. And so, it's Cid's in there, though. Titus walks in. He's demanding where Yuna is. He doesn't.
Where's Yuna?
Yeah, he's like, where is she? And he's like lifting her up. And he's like, basically, it's just like, why would I tell you? Basically, even if I knew. And it's like, I gotta say I'm sorry. You're gonna say you're sorry. And it's like, yeah, dude. I mean, that's it. That's all you're gonna do? Where's Yuna? I'm sorry, Yuna. All right, everyone good? All right, let's continue on.
Yeah, it's like, you're gonna say you're sorry. And then while he's saying this, he does he freaking throws him over his shoulder. He's like, and then drag her all the way to Zanakin to make her fight Shin. He throws him over his shoulder.
That was good, man. That was good accent. That was perfect. Yeah, dude, smacks him down. It's like, Titus, dude, you don't want to mess with Cid, man. He is gonna mess you up, bud. And he's like, no, that's not why, and so he's like, he's promising Cid she won't die. And it's like, boy, you better remember those words, or I'll make you regret it. And so, and you better believe Cid will, man, because again, you have to remember, Cid's her uncle, and Yuna's dad's dead, so he's almost kind of like the patriarch in the family now. So that's his niece, man. He's gonna protect her.
Yeah, this is something we're gonna have to talk about post game too. But like, as far as Cids and Final Fantasies go, Final Fantasy X Cid is awesome.
Dude, yes.
He's definitely up there.
I think 7 and 10 probably are my top 2 Cids, man. They are just both just sick dudes, man. You don't want to mess with either one of them. And so that's it. It's time to go. I think Brother, he's the one that gets in the driver's seat. So, man, he's our nice pilot. And they're going, and essentially they're decided to blow up home, right? To basically sink the ship with all the fiends and all the Guado there too. And it's pretty nuts. He's like, and how you can do it? With the forbidden Machina. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, man, they like using that Machina. I mean, why wouldn't you? We get some cinematics here, and there's a few, and these are some pretty sick ones. At first, the airship is just, it's basically coming out of the in-ground hangar, and so it's coming up. They're super excited because, I think this is almost like the maiden voyage here. Like, I don't think they've flown this yet, and so it's kind of like, seems like a really exciting thing. They're really, really happy. As they're flying away, Sin basically tells Brother, he's like, do it. And Brother's like, whatever you say, man, because, this is their home. This is their second home that they are losing. And so, this is a very impactful moment for the Al Bhed. And they sing the Hymn of the Faith, I believe.
Yeah, well, and this whole scene, like, I love how it kicks in that music from the very beginning of the game, essentially, like right outside the Xanarkin Stadium and stuff. So you got the really awesome, tense music going while this is happening and everything like that. And yeah, the cinematic as they're flying away is just awesome.
Dude, it is great.
But yeah, they start singing the hymn of the faith.
Basically saying goodbye to their home. And okay, I always love this part because, dude, all right, we saw the size of this. I mean, it's a pretty decent sized structure, you know. I mean, it's pretty large, but this dude like literally shoots out like 50 missiles, man. Like, okay, a bit overkill. All right, do you think maybe one probably would have been enough? Did you see the size of that explosion? That's insane. Like it's like literally a nuke that goes off. And like it's so far out. We've been flying this whole way, mind you. Okay, so we're probably I don't know 50 miles out by now, flying through the air, and this explosion catches up to us so far and it passes us, and then we fly out. It's like, dude, oh my gosh, man, like. You could have just fired one missile, would have been enough. You wanted to go out in
Yeah.
style, man. I mean, you wanted home
And
obliterated. You did not want one single scrap left.
And you know what I just realized as you're saying that too? This scene is so classic, right? It's like other Final Fantasies. I mean, 8 comes to mind with Balam Garden flying away
Yeah,
after the missiles and all that stuff. But even like other movies and things like that, there's always this thing of whenever you're self-destructing a place, it's like a nuclear explosion for
yeah.
some
You
reason.
you just go all out, man. It's like freaking. Apparently, Balthier got over there and used his quickening. Huh? What is this? You're like,
Heads up!
okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
his tidal wave thing.
And
No,
the tidal wave
but for
comes in.
real,
Yeah.
I mean, it's always like that, and the flame always engulfs the airship, and they manage to fly
Yes,
out.
yes. But I laugh at it. It's hysterical. They blew it up, man. And after that, like it just goes in the cabin, and Brothers is like, and it's like, yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
he's like, dude, you said blow it up. You didn't say it like this, man. Like, what are you doing?
yeah. Riku obviously is really down and everything like that, and then Waka tries to cheer her up. It's like, hey, come on, it's all right. Like big festival fireworks, eh?
Yeah, it's just like you can cram your big festival fireworks, you
Yeah.
big meanie.
And another funny part that I think we missed earlier is when Waka, basically said that it's an airship. Airship?
Airship? Yes, Waka.
So I had to throw that in there.
Advanced technology, yeah. So okay, at this point, and well, one other thing we missed too was talking about like finding Yuna. Sid doesn't know where she is, so apparently, like it
Yeah.
seems like the Guado did actually get her. Is what kind of you can pick up here because no one knows where she is. So clearly she was kidnapped from the kidnappers. so
Yeah.
and
And
so
they're
we
gonna
got a
they're
third
gonna
party
use the
kidnapping going on.
it's like we're gonna use this sphere oscillo finder
Sphere, yeah,
to get
Sphere's
her or
father.
something like
So yeah, so we gotta find her. And at this point, you can walk around the ship, and it's pretty cool. And so
Yeah.
you can't really do too much, and we're not gonna really move past this, but we will focus on now. You can actually recruit the Albed Sykes. So if you haven't got enough
Yeah.
Blitzball, it's coming at you.
Yeah, this is probably the biggest thing you can do here. You've got Rin on board too, but we will cover that a little bit later. You got a bunch of like the interesting characters,
Yep.
everybody who got picked up from home and stuff like that. So, this is kind of like a free chance where you can walk around, you can talk to Orin, you can talk to Lulu, walk on the bridge, etc. But yeah, the Outbad Sykes, first chance, this is the first time basically you are actually able to recruit them because believe it or not, you can't find them in Luca.
No.
Up until this point in the game, you haven't had access to Beaconell or home, and so yeah, you've got the whole crew basically
Yeah.
down in this little basement area kind of thing.
Yeah, and I mean, and so this is kind of also what makes it a little difficult with Blitzball if you like playing it, but you want some of the Albed Sykes. Is it's kind of like you do really want to bring that balance of maybe not doing too many games, so that way they don't get re-upped in a contract or picked up by someone else. And so if you want to get them first off at the bat, probably just don't do any Blitzball until this point. On playthroughs that I want some other players rather than if I'm just picking up the Oryx or if I'm just content with anyone along the way. I usually just don't even do any blitzball, maybe aside from attack reels, until like the very end. Because, then you can kind of like start fresh, you get everyone in the pool, you're able to go get just about everyone. And so
Right.
it's good. And honestly, the Albert Sykes, you should know if you've played some blitzball, especially from the get-go, first level. Oh man, they are hands down the strongest team from levels like probably 1 to
Yeah.
30ish. And then of course, as we talked about, and we'll get to, Nimruk alone just makes them so hard to beat because of the super high starting catch. But the rest of them are amazing too starting out. So let's get it right into it, man. We'll start with Egar, one of the forwards here. He starts out with 13 endurance and 12 shoot. And so Titus is 10-10 as a kind of a nice little baseline for that. So he's already best. I think that two combo is about as best as it does get starting out, opposed from some of those just really funky free agents that'll have like a crazy stat or something. He also has really good pass and block. So that's the crazy thing, is that like he is very well rounded for a forward. I mean, that's crazy. Like his attack isn't anything great, but that block, if he's just in there, among tackling you with a couple other players, like you have to break through them because you're definitely not going to pass over them or shoot over them.
And it's kind of similar with Blappa, the other forward. So basically, he starts out with 13 endurance, 13 shoot. But it's kind of like when you think about it, I mean, their endurance and shoot aren't insanely high compared to, for example, Titus, like you
Yeah.
said, or, Dado,
Yeah,
for
2 or
example. I
3
mean,
or
it is
something.
higher. But the real difference with these guys, I think the reason why they're so difficult to beat is because their other stats are super high, like their block, their pass, and their
Yeah.
attack. I mean, you don't ever expect forwards to have high stats like that, so they can kind of catch you out where it's a forward, so you don't think that you're going to have a hard time passing it through them or
Yeah.
getting a shot off or something. You find out they have 11 block. They just end up being annoying as heck, and the bottom line is you can only really realistically like be in an encounter with one at a time. If you ever get like two, you're kind of not going to be able to do anything because of their block.
Yeah, unless you just break through them, essentially. And the bottom line with them too is the techniques they come with.
Yeah.
They have a ton, and so it will not be that uncommon to see Blappa at like maybe level 10 with like Nap Tackle 2, or something. And it's like,
Yeah.
whoa, like they're strong. They're really good. And so by level 30, Egar and Blappa, again, about as best as it gets. Just like everything's about in the 30s. It's crazy. And actually, the thing about Egar, too, is he actually has the highest block for a forward. Lina is the disclaimer I put on the notes because if you do, Lina is she is a forward, but she got like 20 endurance or something. So I mean, use her at your own risk. But she does have higher. But so if you don't count her though, I mean, it's crazy. He has so much. But in the end, nothing else is good, man. This is so funny how they did this for the Sykes. About level 30, 35, they just kind of stop growing. I mean, I don't get it, for the next 70 levels, they just don't really get anything. For example, at level 30, Egar has 28 endurance. At 99, he has 46. That's only 18 growth in like 70 levels.
They're kind of like inverse. You know what I mean? Like they start off spectacular,
Yeah.
and then their growth is decent, but then their growth kind of starts to decrease as they get on into the later levels to the point where 50 plus levels, basically, they don't actually get that much better, and their growth actually kind of puts them behind in some regards.
Yeah.
But
They get
you're
passed
right,
up.
like about the abilities too, because I know in my game, I don't know, like the AI let go of both Igar and Blappa
Yeah, I
at
know.
really early levels.
Starting
Like I
out,
think
yeah.
Blappa level 8 or something like that, and they picked up, Wedge or somebody like that. I can't remember. Wedge
Yeah.
or Shoe. And Igar, dude, he starts off with Sphere Shot, which is just insane because it's number one, it's like, especially early on, it's really hard to learn that. Titus is typically the only one that's going to have it. So you've got two forwards with Sphere Shot, and it kind of gives you the ability. You can get like plus 12 to your shoot sometimes if you get lucky on the
Yeah.
RNG on that. So it's a crazy ability to come with. It's just that typically when you're playing with them, or playing against them, the AI is kind of dumb. It'll put like volley shot or
Yeah.
something as they're
Dude,
not
can you
that good.
imagine if the AI was as smart as people? When like
As a real, yeah.
like that'd
Oh,
be
it'd be
nuts. Oh
impossible.
my gosh, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, you would use the perfect amount of text and all this different
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, bottom line is with him in the end, he only has 61 shoot, which I mean, that's not like horrible, but that's not good. That's not what you want. And with 46 endurance, he's not top of the line. So Silver Lining's got 9,999 HP. So hey, there you go, buddy. And
Yeah, and as we talked about the HP at that point, it kind of doesn't
doesn't
even
matter.
matter really.
Yeah. again, Blappa, he's almost identical, and he actually has a little bit more endurance, so he ends with 60 endurance, 59 shoot. So not, not the worst, but I mean, gosh, they're way better forwards than these guys at max level. What you might want to do, though, if you just want to completely decimate teams and you have access to these guys, pick them up in the beginning. Once you get to about like level 35, 40, maybe you go ahead and drop them and pick someone else who's been growing, you know what I mean? And so
These guys are just overkill, though. Honestly, it's crazy. Barrick isn't really. He's not really like a standout or anything. He's actually pretty similar to Letty in a lot of regards. Right off the bat, with 8 endurance compared to Letty's 7, 10 attack compared to Letty's 5. So he's double up on that one.
yeah,
But 12 pass to 10 pass, 11 block to 5 block. Much better defender. But basically, again, like he's just annoying. And centers tend to be really annoying in this game because they always seem to be the one that's teaming up with the forwards or teaming up with the
yeah.
defenders and getting you into situations. Because like that 11 block and that 10 attack really just causes a lot
It's
of problems,
yeah.
especially if he has Venom tackle or usually has something like that, Nap tackle or Wither tackle or something. So they're a
Well,
pain.
and
They're
I
just a
mean,
pain.
seriously, hitting on what you said earlier too, but you got to basically take on one at a time. Is imagine
Have to.
if you had Blappa and Barrick, on Titus, you're pushing forward, they're both on you. I mean, what are you gonna do? Titus only
I
has 10
mean,
attack, or I mean 10
yeah,
endurance, so Barrick could easily take him out. Blappa would definitely finish him
yeah,
off, and then you can't. I mean, his pass is crap, but you wouldn't be able to shoot it. They both have 11 blocks, so it's kind of like,
yeah.
man, you just gotta pray. You just gotta break through one, and then pray that maybe the block misses or something.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, strategy for these guys is pretty much just, it would be helpful if you're higher level, obviously, but if you've got Letty and stuff like that, you gotta really have Venom Pass or something
Yeah,
to at least give him 14 or 15 pass, and then you pretty much have to 100% rely on Jack Shot, to be honest, because you gotta get
yes.
super close, and we'll talk about why, but other than that, too, it's like with your defenders, you can't even get into an encounter, really. You've got to just,
Oh
if
yeah,
you're
no,
using
yeah,
your Aurochs, that is,
yeah,
you've got to keep completely away from everybody.
I would say maybe the best bet might be if you're using the Oryx, especially, is maybe
Oh,
take
dude,
Jasu
they
to
can.
Blappa. He might be able to break him. I mean, sometimes Blappa, like I say, with skills in the block, so you got to really be very situational with your position and all that kind of stuff. Really, really interesting. Barrick in the end, kind of the same thing. Not the best. He's not terrible. I mean, he's got 69 pass, 48 block, 43 attack. So I mean, but I mean, come on, compared to like Nav Guado or just some of the other centers, it's like, oh, dude, he's just getting passed. Let's see. Jetta is the next one. Pretty good defender. I mean, both of them, Jetta and Lackham, are both again about the same. And the main theme with them is, dude, they got really high pass. They steal the ball, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get them, because usually defenders' endurance isn't anything to write home. Even though Jetta's got 9, but no, they're probably not gonna break through you, and they're just gonna pass right over you because it's actually pretty great.
Yeah, and I actually really like the defenders having high pass,
Same.
now that I'm thinking about it, because that kind of gives you the ability. A lot of times they'll get the team you're playing, all their players get bunched up on one side. And so if you've got somebody with really high pass, you can get it to a forward or somebody, break away.
Yep.
Because, I mean, they're strong at the beginning. I mean, yeah, the defenders actually might be the best, two of the best from the team
Yeah.
throughout. Because
Yeah.
even
I'd
at
say.
level 99, their attack isn't highest. I mean, you're looking at 50 for Jutta and 49 for Lekem. But with a ability, that's plenty enough. Right,
Yeah.
you're looking at 56 attack at least, things like that. So I mean, it's pretty good, and then extremely good block, and like you said, really good pass too at level 99, 76, and 66.
Yeah. And
So
and they
pretty
have more
solid.
endurance than the forwards do. I mean, Jetta
Yeah,
is 60, Lackham 70. I
yeah.
mean, I'm kind of with you there, as the whole team in the end. They're definitely best outside of the last guy that we got here. Definitely solid. I mean, there are better ones, but it's not going to be like so much so we're like, whoa, this defender's way better than Lackham or something. Like Rop,
They're
of course, his attack is the best, and he's the best defender. But Lackham, I would actually probably go with her, because I mean, 68 block. That's huge. That's great.
Yeah, I'd say they're top 10, right? I mean, when you think about it, level 100 players, given that they have 60 speed as well, that's kind of one of the bigger things as far as, when you look at stats, because you can look at the Ronsos,
Sure.
they've got really good stats, but terrible speed. But, they don't have the highest attack, but I think just given how well-rounded they are, they've got to be top 10.
And they're great starting out. So, I mean, they're definitely good finds if you are able to pick up. And then, of course, the goalie, the best one in the game, Nimruk. He's an all-star. He's a baller, man. He starts at 18 catch at level 1. Yes, he does. And so, dude, I mean, honestly, your best bet to score against this guy is one or two routes. You got to get pretty lucky with the sphere shot and hope that Nimruk doesn't have super goalie or anything like that, because if he does have that, then, yeah, well, your chances are probably going out the window as well. Or you got to put him to sleep, man. You got to use nap shot, and that's actually very effective, so I would not knock that. If you're going with the Oryx, I would maybe, try to get some situational goals with Titus if I could, with sphere shot. If I'm not getting luck, or maybe his HP is running low, dude, just start doing Napshot with Dado. It's effective. It's 50% chance. So, I mean, it's, you knock him out, and then at that point, you could just pass it to Jasu, and Jasu could score if you really wanted to. So, dude, he is so good. I mean, he's always top. Has the highest catch throughout the whole entire levels, all of them. And then at max was 67. That is just nuts, man.
Especially if you're playing, I mean, right off the bat, early days with the Aurochs, you pretty much just have to get really lucky. He's
Yeah,
a pain to play against the Sykes.
he is. And I mean,
Because like you said, I mean, yeah, that the RNG aspect of it where he's got 18 catch, you pretty much have to you certainly have to hope that he underperforms on that and maybe only accounts for 15 of that at
yes,
best.
yeah.
Usually, like, for example, Jack Shot comes in at 19 or something like that, so you're barely above.
And you got to be right next
And
to it before it trickles down.
you gotta be right next to it. Yeah, you can't have any loss on that, and then you kinda have to hope that his stat kinda underperforms. It's just an annoying game. I don't know why they made him so tough,
I
honestly. They
don't I
made
don't
it
either.
there's no team that's even comparably
No.
difficult.
I mean, I think Jamal is second with 14, so I mean, gosh, Nimruk's
Yeah,
even
he's
4
not
over
even
that, that's
yeah,
crazy. And so,
and he's not even on a team at first.
yeah, it's
Depends on
so
if you even played him.
I mean, 67 catch at the end, that's huge, because I mean, couple it with super goalie, you can get upwards of like 80 catch. I mean, that's insane to
Yeah,
think about. I mean, you are going to
yeah.
be stopping a lot of goals, or shots rather, with that.
Yeah. So if you want to break the game right off the bat, you can basically do that exhibition technique
Yes.
of just playing the sites for the amount of contract games save right before, because now now you can scout him. You can see how many games he has on his
Yep.
contract. So save right before you get to one, or when you get to one, basically, and then play that game, exit, and basically, just hope, because the RNG eventually will work in your favor. If you
Yep.
keep hard resetting it and reset the RNG, they'll eventually just do something stupid and let them go for some
Yeah.
reason. You can just go and pick them up right there.
It might take a
So,
while, but it will happen. Be patient. It will happen.
yeah,
It's
just keep resetting until they do. Eventually, it'll
Yeah.
happen. It's not impossible.
So those are the Albed Sykes. Pretty good. We'll go over one last player here, because it's actually pretty interesting. This guy, he's coming at you. His summoner's missing. The world's falling apart. He's on the run from the church.
He's used the Forbidden
He's
Machina.
part of Forbidden Machina. He's with the enemy that he's hated for so long. It's none other than Waka. He's coming out
He's
of retirement right now. Right now, you're coming out of
he's
retirement, man. Now's the time.
he's a heathen.
He's a heathen. I mean, gosh, man, like, goodness. He's like, yeah, now's the time, guys. Titus, I want back on my team.
Yeah,
Anyways, you can pick up Waka, and this is actually kind of interesting, because if you want to do an OG Oryx team, well, Titus isn't on the team, man. You need to get Waka and use
yeah.
him, and then play it as that, and that would actually be really interesting to see how that would go.
Yep, full uniform and everything like that, right? Titus is the only one that doesn't actually have the Aurochs yellow. He's actually a pretty good player too,
He is,
right? I
man.
mean, he starts off with 11 endurance, 13 shoot. He's pretty much just like where you left him at Luca after you got to play for them that little bit there. He has Venom Shot, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
He also even does a different sort of swim, which is unique. So,
Yeah, so it's pretty cool, and you get Waka. You can use him long term, and he's a very purist forward. So I mean, in pretty good endurance and shoot, Everything else is crap. I mean, it's just absolute
Yeah.
garbage. It's really, really low.
Best thing about him is 1 gil per game is his contract. So
1 gil. He doesn't even want to do it for the money. He's just wanting to play Blitzball again. And so
exactly.
by 30, his stats are growing. I mean, they're on average. He's got 27 endurance, pretty good. 32 shoot, comparable. Titus is at 33. So I mean, he's right there. And he'll actually end with 78 endurance and 80 shoot. That's good. That's more than enough to get the job done. As we kind of just mentioned with Numruk is probably going to be at the top of 80 with some abilities if he can. Waka's at 80 shoots, so I mean, he is going to be able to score on pretty much any goalie. And, 78 endurance is enough to get the job done.
Exactly. He's pretty solid.
All right, well, if you go back in, because we're assuming, we went into where the Al Bhed Sykes were, or if you just went out and checked some things out on the ship, once you go back into the main area, you will actually get a scene between Oren confronting Sid about Yuna's pilgrimage, because here you go, man. You got two ballers going head to head here. You got Oren that's like, she has to do this. You got Sid that's like, there's no way she's doing this. It's so... he's like, barely giving her a dog's death, because he's making it's like, make her quit her pilgrimage, It's like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because isn't it like you would oppose her pilgrimage? Yeah, basically, Sid is like, I'm not going to make her go on this damn fool pilgrimage and have her sacrifice herself just to kill sin and all this kind of stuff.
Oren actually kind of relents, after a while, he's like, you're the captain. And you might be like, whoa, dude, Oren, what are you doing? But it's like, no, come on. Oren knows that Yuna is going to be the one that Sid's going to have to stop, not us. And so, and good luck.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, we're on Sid's airship right now, so
that's true.
Can't really say much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, go ahead and hop off then. It's like, no, man, come on, I need you to take us around.
Just threw Titus over his back, over his shoulders.
Yeah,
so I mean.
Oh, damn, I forgot to give him the parachute. At this point, I think you can move around again, and we're going to go ahead and save here, and that is where we're going to end it for this episode. So we'd like to thank you all for hanging out, spending time and listening to episodes, supporting us. We really appreciate it. We're enjoying the podcast. So you can stop off at our website. It's Final Stop for FinalFantasyTalks.com. We have a blog there that's just kind of a short little blog. And then we got our Blitzball stuff there. So if you're interested in our Blitzball, we're probably going to be doing Blitzball episodes about every third episode here. We'll do 2 regular ones, boom, boom, and then a Blitzball one, as you guys have probably been noticing. You can also check out our Instagram, same handle, Final Stop for Final Fantasy Talks. And, we just always put up the media of whatever we're talking about. So all the clips, all the stuff, it's always just kind of fun to kind of pick up the little snippets of the funny things. Of course, we're going to have probably Titus's little fit screaming here, so make sure to look out for that clip. And it's just pretty fun to talk with you guys on it also.
It's been a lot of fun doing this, guys. So thanks for listening.
All right. Well, we'll catch you next episode. I'm Mark.
And I'm Alex.
And this is Final Stop for Final Fantasy Talks.